Ajantha Perera is an environmental scientist. Ajantha, you're joining us live from Colombo. Sri Lanka is used to rainy seasons. It is used to cyclones. But this latest one, Cyclone Ditwa, has dumped an enormous amount of rain. As an environmental scientist, what do you take away from that?
Well, basically, I would say it was not so much the rain that mattered, but it was the preparedness. Because when the heavy rains were coming, people were not aware that this was actually going to happen. And so people were actually staying in their houses. They were going about day-to-day activities, and which meant that they could not protect themselves. And that was one of the main reasons why so many people died, because there were no evacuation centers prepared. And so people did not know where to go. They were staying in their houses, and there were landslides. So literally people died because of there was no pre-planning for the disaster.
You say that people weren't aware. Would there normally be an early warning system in Sri Lanka for the cyclones to warn how much rain there's going to be, how strong the winds are going to be, and overall just how dangerous it's going to be?
No, actually, when cyclone came, now I was in Fiji Islands during the cyclone Winston. You would get the message in the mobile phone as to how far the cyclone is and how near it is coming, so that you could be ready for it. But here in Sri Lanka, it did not happen. Because basically there was no warning, the word even cyclone was not even mentioned. They only said that there was going to be heavy rains. And so, and there was no indication as to where the evacuation centers were to be located, where the people should go. They should collect their foodstuff, all those things which are normally planned as a disaster management tool was not in use at all. And so people were surprised by the whole landfall. They were surprised by the heavy rains. And then when the dam spillover was open, people were still in the houses. And that's why so many disasters, so many lives were lost.
Okay, so listening to you, it's pretty clear that this should have been much better prepared, and there should have been much better communication, especially with people who were on the path of the cyclone. We talk a lot about climate adaptation. I don't know how similar or dissimilar this is to what you're telling us, preparedness. In a country like Sri Lanka, what should adaptation look like? What does it mean for people who live in the most high-risk areas?
Well, basically, they should not be living in such areas, because this has been spoken about many a times, that people should be away from hilly areas, because people are actually getting land, they're clearing the plant cover which is on the slopes, and they're building houses. And they're also living very close to where the spillovers are. And so there has never been a restriction on those things. And there has never been a monitoring plan in order to see these people, in order to remove them. There's no legal mechanism on that. And that's why basically climate adaptation requires that we actually strengthen the legal system in order to get the people away from where they are vulnerable. But this was actually not done. So actually, I would say in Sri Lanka, the climate adaptability or preparedness is not actually happening well. And that's why, unfortunately, so many had to die because there is no legal mechanism. For example, even the environmental impact assessment is not considered as relevant in Sri Lanka.
Ajantha Perera, you're telling us that authorities should be not only ready, but actually beginning to force Sri Lankans out of the most vulnerable areas, near the riverbanks or away from hilly areas. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you.